Well, this is a little project I'm going to be working on, and I thought I'd show it to you before I get started on it. What it is a platform cart. Now, these were used basically for hauling cream cans, because you could put like 4 cream cans on here, because there's a platform that goes here that heavy weight sits on, can sit on. I actually used it for hauling firewood around. It worked good for that, but I just put sideboards on it. But I want to get it put back together because the wood is kind of completely falling apart. But there's enough of the wood left to see how it went together, so I can get this back. I'm not sure, I'm debating, I'm thinking oak, but I might go with ash. Doesn't really matter, except, like here, the metal ends right here, so you have wood support here. There's wood across the back. That ain't much. So I'm thinking maybe oak to be on the safe side. Or I could use oak here, there, and for the handle, and use ash for the platform. That might work pretty well. She needs a little bit of straightening. She's got kinked around some. And I always thought about finding some brass to use for bushings, because there's no grease zerks or nothing on these, so it just runs on the cast iron until it wears down. So there's a little play in them. So I could put bushings in there. But I'll have to get me a bunch of little bolts. But they're just a little 1/4 inch. But see, it's got, like I said, there'll be a cross piece there, there, and there. This is for the handle. And then it does have these feet, so that when you've got it loaded, you've got something to rest it on. Kind of handy little deal. Before I had a generator with wheels on, I used to use it for hauling the generator around, because you could just drop the generator on it without lifting it more than like 6 inches. But then like I said, I put sideboards on and used it for hauling firewood. Just from the wood pile up to the house. We're good for that. But it's too handy of a deal to leave sitting around, so I have to do something with it. But even just hauling it over here, I broke. And that looks like it was oak at one time. But, it's been out in the weather for a long time. When I took it out of the spot where it was sitting, there was a tree about that big growing right through the middle. I had to cut down, so it's been sitting a while. But a good device. I remember as a kid, my grandma had one at her place. Because anybody who milked any amount of cows usually had one of these. Because you could use them for hauling sacks of grain around. They're just handy. But the one she had, the whole farm was kind of on a slant. And us kids, whenever we'd visit, we'd climb on it and try to, anything with wheels on, you try to get her rolling down the hill. Well, they really don't work that well. They're kind of tipsy. You put a kid on there. She wasn't a go-kart, but of course we tried to make it one. But she'll be a good hauler for many uses. I actually got this at a rummage sale years and years ago. But the guy who had it, he was one of them where he sold it to me cheap because he knew I would use it. So I got to live up to expectations and get back to work with it. It's the kind of thing people use for lawn ornaments, but she ain't an ornament. She's a tool.